right, it is Zenspath 4-Button Podcast, episode 58. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me once again from, locally, Caleb.
Hi.
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 Joining us from the other side of Florida, Rachel.
Hello. How are you guys?
So extra.
Very. She's just so super extra. But speaking of extra, our extra guest that we have this episode joining us from a different podcast, Joie. Introduce yourself,
Hello.
my friend.
Hi, I'm Joie. I'm from a different podcast. No, I do Jump and Shoot, a gaming podcast, and also Super RPG Friends, which is like a weekly RPG show. We just stream a game, talk about it, somewhere between like a Let's Play and a podcast, and also stream myself. And that's it. I'm extra.
And that's
Welcome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all
Thank
he
you
does.
guys for
There's
having
nothing
me,
else.
by the way. Jeremy was actually on my podcast once, so
Yes.
hell yeah.
I
Cool.
became a guest on your show for once, so it worked out well. I still have to eventually get onto Caleb's show, and then whenever Rachel feels like having one, I'll be on hers. Or she'll just keep being on mine, whatever.
I mean, you've
Yeah.
technically been on a show of mine already. I was.
Good point. The Nerd Edification Hour, yes, which you
Good point.
attempted last episode to take over.
It was too perfect.
Yeah, that was too good of a way to open. But speaking of opening, we'll go ahead and jump into what we've been doing, or what you've been playing, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Rachel, you want to start us off?
Sure. Why not? I will go first. Ladies first, as they say. Since our last show, I actually started using Streamlabs for my streams, which is super neat. It's something I've heard of before. Obviously, all my friends use it, but the last time I tried, I got very overwhelmed by how customizable it is. But it's not actually as hard as I thought it was, and there's a lot to learn, and I've decided that I'm going to learn and add a new thing to my stream each week, so that way I'm not as overwhelmed by it. I just figured out how to redeem channel points or use bits and do sound alerts with that, so that was cool. And then the next thing I need to do with it is get some emotes. And because I don't have any custom emotes yet, I have some emotes, but they're just like the general stuff that they provide for, baby streamers. So yeah, because I am just a baby streamer.
Little baby stream.
I'm a baby. So I'm also been working on cosplays for Megacon. So I'm planning on going to that this year. It'll be my first con since Dragon Con in 2019, and I'm super excited for it. Thus far, the only new cosplays I'm going to be wearing is going to be my Death Eater. I just have to make my mask because I'm going to be working on that next week, I think, starting out. And then Naja from What We Do in the Shadows. Yes, exactly. Yes.
That's awesome.
And then I can yell across the convention center, "Where's my Laszlo? Where's my darling husband?" And actually my buddy Russ, who I know from cons and stuff like that, is going to be dressing up as my Laszlo. So it'll be really fun palling around with him for the con. I'm almost done with Naja, actually. I have a wig that I'm going to use for her, possibly, but if I get this other wig if it comes in time, I will use that instead, because I prefer Ardo wigs than just general Amazon wigs, which are questionable, But I could also possibly wear my Ellie Sattler cosplay from Jurassic Park, because I didn't get to wear it last year to MegaCon, because it was, canceled. And then also I finished playing Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. Have you guys played that?
Oh,
game
I
was
want
good.
to.
It was so good. I picked it up on a whim from Target because it was on sale. So I got it for my PS5, and I beat it over the course of a week, essentially, but I only played it for about 4 days total. And on 4 days, it probably took me less than 20 hours to complete. It wasn't a super long game. If I had done all of the different stuff, the gold tournament, all of the infobots, all the different stuff like that, I didn't do all of it. I just wanted to do the story. and I really enjoyed it. The additional mechanics were really cool. And even on easy mode, there was difficult bits. Oh, kitty.
You just flashed your cat's
meow.
butt into the camera. Just for anyone listening to the audio, this is why you should watch the video version. Caleb's cat just flashed his butt.
And then
She's
the game.
Anyways, continue,
Aw,
Rachel.
kitty.
Sorry.
I know, but I love the kitty. The game landed on like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it landed on a slight cliffhanger, not like an actual cliffhanger, like there was a nice ending there, but I just want Ratchet to find the
everybody in that
Lombaxes,
way
man.
to kind of move the story along.
All I want is him to find the Lombaxes, man. I don't want him to keep finding a singular Lombax. I want him to find the Lombaxes. Give it to me, Insomniac. Come on. But I know that once that happens, the games will be over. So at the same
can't
time,
sell more games if he finds the things that he's always wanted. So
I know.
And then you can lose them and start it all over again.
But it was,
if there's money to be made, they'll find a way to sequelize it.
It was kind of cool because in this game they simultaneously at the end set up for both a sequel and a spin-off with Rivet and Kid. So which is really good for them, considering if they ever have to drop Ratchet for some reason. But it was kind of delightful, like the intro sequence to the game where it's like, oh yeah, we're coming out of retirement. What could this possibly be for? Because Ratchet hasn't done any adventuring in a long time. So it's just like a weird, like, oh yeah, we haven't done anything with this character in a while. Here you go. And I was like, oh my God. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. The music was good. And it was kind of like a love letter to Ratchet and Clank fans. So I hope they do more. I love those games. Next games that gaming companies that needs to receive something is going to be Jak and Daxter, but I don't know that it'll ever happen.
Would be nice, but yeah, I doubt it. Hope so.
Yeah.
We'll
F-Zero is just like turning in its grave right now, being like, just someone will me into existence.
Which one?
Somebody just think of me, please, dear God.
I think the time has passed for F-Zero. It's sad.
There's always time to go fast. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Nintendo Land.
True.
I mean,
Doesn't
that's true.
count.
And technically partially in Mario Kart 8.
That is
that's
true.
right. Mute City. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was like two of the F-Zero tracks, one of the carts, and a costume of Captain Falcon you could get. So sadly, I think that's the most we're going to get for a little while, unless they make like a nice deal with Sega. Yeah, I'd be happy if they just bring back the GameCube one.
It's the best racing game ever made. No cap.
There you go. All right, Caleb, do you want to go next, or are you just going to pet your cat?
Yeah, I'll go next. Sorry. Well,
no, you're good. I'm just messing with you.
Recently, she's been really needy. I don't know why. All right,
cats.
She wants to be on camera.
So, recent games I have partaken in are Vampire Survivors, which is a $3 game on Steam, and is basically you become a bullet hell. That's the tagline, anyways. It is quite addicting, actually. You talked about loot boxes and stuff. You pick up little treasure chests, and it like plays a little jingle every time you open one. So, but like, bam, 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 it's like a casino, like
gambling for children.
It's really fun. It's very arcadey, and it's just kind of relaxing. So, go check it out. Okay. I've also been playing a Blade Assault, which is a roguelike that came out just recently. Very fun. It's like a 2D roguelike kind of thing. It's set in the future. Super fast-paced, super fun. Banjo-Kazooie, of course. Nova Drift is a roguelike asteroid game, believe it or not. So if you like asteroids and you like roguelikes, there you go.
You really like roguelikes. That's
I do.
I like those.
Banjo-Kazooie is possibly the greatest roguelike ever made.
Well, yeah, I was going to go back to it. I was just going to hit all the roguelikes. And I was gonna...
Which one's the best one?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie.
Insane difficulty.
I just love the RNG in that Banjo-Kazooie.
It's just messed up, man. Sometimes you get that good run, that God run, and then sometimes just eat crap all day. That's just what happens.
Sometimes you collect all the Genjos, and that's your god run right there. Other times you get the grunty item, which just
I turn the game on and I'm already a washing machine. If I just turn the game on, I'm already a wash machine. I just turn it off.
Just restart at that point. Just make a new save file.
The amount of laughter I'm having right now.
And of course, I'm still trying to finish Subnautica with my wife. That's a series I do on my channel that's strangely entertaining. Go look that up. And then also just recently, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Quite fun so far. The first hour in anyways. I can't wait to see.
I think I'm going to pick that up tomorrow on my way home from going to the thing that I'm going to.
Hopefully you can find a copy. I think people are losing hard copies around here. So
I don't see why not. I live in a pretty big town, and I think given what I'm wearing tomorrow to this cosplay event I'm going to, I will be pretty intimidating walking into a GameStop. So I think I'll find it.
And then also I have I watched Eden Zero. That's an anime made by the guy who made Fairy Tail, Hiro Mashima, and people are calling it Fairy Tail in Space, but it is a lot darker. I kid you not, it is a lot darker. So
I've never seen either of them, so
not insane.
I've watched some of Fairy Tail, but I got really lost in it. So
go back and finish Fairy Tail. It's a good time. Like
I'll go back and finish Fairy Tail after I finish all of the other animes that I have to finish. So
yeah. But anyways, if you haven't watched Eden Zero and you have some free time, I recommend it. It's a good, fun time. Bit of fan service, just forewarning. That one as well. But
is it an anime if it's not fan servicey in some way at some point? You're
kind of right. But I did that for our other podcast I do. That is the Content Breaker podcast. If you look us up, we're the first thing that shows up on YouTube or whatever other sound listening, audio listening what they call them, podcatchers anyways.
Podcatchers, yes.
Yeah.
Podcatchers is correct.
And the most recent video we did, which is on Eden Zero, is doing pretty well so far. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, I got a wrong package. So
I really want to hear this. I'm
fascinated. You got
fascinated.
Pokemon Legends Bidoof, unfortunately, instead of Arceus. It was a tragic misunderstanding.
Yeah. So,
absolute misprint.
There was another version called Pokemon Legends Bidoof. And
it's super rare.
In it, the only Pokemon you can catch are Bidoof. So
of various shapes, sizes, and colors.
Yes.
Well, you just play as the Bidoof.
Actually, that's not right. There's one Bibarel.
Okay.
You play as the Bidoof capturing the people.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That's the secret level.
The first Pokemon, yeah. Capturing them all for the professor.
So Rachel and Jeremy, you might remember from last podcast, I had introduced you to my little Digimon watch, and I ordered a DIM card for that. But the place I ordered it from swapped it out with some Final Fantasy 14 Soul Stones. That there's 5 of them. Yeah, and I opened up the box and I'm like, huh. Well, these are quite beautiful, and they're magnets. So they're very cool, very interesting. Not
quite wrong.
Not much better. Yeah, that's a lot different.
So not probably as interesting as you guys thought it was, but to me, I'm just like, how do you mess that up? I don't know.
Have you contacted them yet about the and what did they say?
Absolutely. They said, please email our help thing. I'm like, okay, whatever. So maybe I'll hear from them.
And Caleb never heard from them again.
And if you don't play Final Fantasy 14, I guess you have to now.
No, you have Soul Stones. So
yeah, guerrilla marketing rules.
The
breaks.
I beat the dragon one.
Heaven's Ward?
The dragon one.
Yeah, Heaven's Ward. I beat Heaven's Ward. I don't know. I got to do post Heaven's Ward, but I haven't logged in since the new update came out because I'm like, what's the point if I got to compete with 5 million other people trying to log in.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that was-
want to.
yeah.
Now that I have a fancy, PC Master Race computer, I was like, maybe I'll play this now. And then I went to go like, okay, I don't remember any of my account stuff because when I set up an account, it was the beta of the new version on PS4 when they first dropped that.
yeah.
And so it's connected to my email address that's connected to my PSN account. And I'm like, I don't remember any of the login information for that. And to recover my password, there was a wait list. And I was like, no. So I'm just going to wait.
Hard times coming your way.
Especially since I'd have to pay $30 for the game anyway. So
I think I just got to do Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and then Endwalkers, which that might take forever. But yeah, so I'm like, I have 5 soul stones, but it's not like I can become a samurai, which was one of them, or as cool as that would be, these magnets are, So can I have my other thing back, please? But anyways, that's what I've been up to most recently.
Oh Lord. All right.
The irony there is that people struggle with the magnet mechanics in Final Fantasy 14. There's like boss mechanics, like with polarity.
Yeah.
So you can keep them and help you, be reminded of what you've lost.
Here's my scholar soul stone in real life that I have. Here we go.
Exactly. You got it.
Oh,
All right. Well, Joey, I'll let you go up next. What you been playing or what you been doing, man?
I don't play video games. I
okay.
collect them. No, I've been playing through the Shining series. I played most of the games before, but at least the early ones, the 90s ones. So I've been playing through that. I'm like in the middle of Shining Force 3 Scenario 2. Windjammers 2, Game of the Year. I said it here already. It's very good.
I'm having to wait for my physical copy to get here before I can play it, but I'm looking forward to it.
That's a game I can justify buying digital and physical, because it's cheap, and also I know that I'll get my mileage out of it and having a multiple platforms. So, really, really fun. Windjammers 2. I was the first person in the world to beat the arcade mode on the hardest difficulty because no one had the trophy, and then I got it, and then someone had the trophy, and it was me, baby. So that's my brag.
Nice.
It's not very humble, but it's a brag nonetheless. See
the
me
whole
in
reason you're on
Windjammers. Get jammed.
I'll see you on the court.
What system are you playing it on?
PS5. Yeah, PS5.
Okay. So if I buy it digitally, I might pick that one up so I can play.
Yeah, I have it on Switch as well.
That's the version I ordered the physical copy for.
Yeah, same. And then I backed it on Steam a long time ago. So I think I have it on there too.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah. Big Windjammers fan 420 is actually at sbcglobal.net. That's my contact information. So hit me up there if you need anything from me, like paraphernalia or anything.
Oh my God.
Random signatures. You send me things, I'll sign them and send them back.
Exactly. That's how we get this rolling, man.
Mom,
this is the secret world.
Oh my gosh.
I'm absolutely losing it.
But yeah, Shining Stream's going through that. And then we have another game coming up for Super RPG friends. We're on our Genesis block. I can't unveil what it is, but I will say that there perhaps may be other games in that series. So I will be streaming those as well. And I think that's it, man. I had to board my snake. He was just having some trouble eating. So I'm sad because he's going to be gone for a couple days. So until he comes back, I'm just in a state of disrepair.
Well, hopefully it'll be okay.
It'll be
hope
fine.
so.
He's just picky. He's annoying, but I love him.
Well,
He's a snake.
He's a scaly baby.
Scaly baby.
That's
true.
what he is. He's a scaly baby. I love all pets are babies. So
true, except babies.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't really consider those pets.
It's funny because I've had snakes growing up, and I never had a problem with snakes eating food, and he struggles so hard. He's a little dumb, but we love him.
It's
So-
I understand that with pets being dumb because Suki is as clever as she is dumb, which is a lot of both. So
Okay. I'm about to say none of that sentence made sense, but all right.
No, I
she's
got
just-
it. I got it.
no, she's just as clever as she is stupid. It's literally that's her in a nutshell.
Just an average dog.
Yeah, that's most dogs, but that's
Yeah.
why we love dogs.
Equals out in the middle somewhere.
They
Right.
they have so much love in their little tiny bodies, or large ones if they're a Great Dane.
They're dumb enough to poop in the yard, but at least smart enough not to hopefully poop in your house.
Yes.
Oh, that's on you, buddy. That's on you. That's not on the dog.
That's true.
That's a dog. That's not. It's not going to know not to go in the house. You got it. You got to teach him that.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and finish up this part with what I've been playing as well. I had a vacation. That's why this show is a week late, because I was, roaming around the Bahamas for a little bit, getting some drone flights and some snorkeling in. So that was fun.
I was gonna say, were you lost? You were just roaming
You're
around?
just roaming.
We'll
Just
talk about it.
Jeremy wandering
Yeah, I-
along the beach.
I could definitely
looking
see that.
confused.
Jeremy just
Huh. Hi.
Like
Oh, this is nice. Where am I? I woke up lost again. Yeah, I'm kind of bad about that. I just like wake up randomly in a country, make sure all my organs are there, and just start walking.
like, I will use every bit of knowledge I have of Star Tropics to navigate my
Oh.
way.
Oh God.
Why does he keep putting paper and
this
water?
is a man
I need
after
the
my
secret
own heart.
message.
Dropping a Star Tropics reference.
Yeah, Caleb will come with the Star Tropics. It's great. Well, part of it.
Email me later.
Right.
I gave you my email address, right? Yeah, you got it. It's windjammersfan420 at sbcglobal.net. Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy.
No, this is great. I love it. So I was without internet for an entire week. I made a conscious effort. I had messaged like Rachel and Remy, like, all right, cool. Y'all have control of the Discord. If anyone misbehaves, spank them, whatever.
My time to post.
Right. And I just went offline. So we'll cover the news in a bit, but like I finally got internet back like on Saturday at like 5:00 in the morning. I woke up early. We were coming into dock. I could finally turn the airplane mode off. And I start getting messages from people, and I'm just like, well, this has to all be made up. None of this can be actual crap that's happened this week. There's just no way.
Oh,
Exactly.
Oh, that's so
It
wild,
happened.
dude.
There
I
were
didn't realize
things.
that.
There's so
There
much.
there was things that happened, Jeremy.
So
you have
everything,
no idea.
yeah, everything from last week, I didn't find out about until Saturday morning, and I was like, what the crap?
I remember you came into the Discord and you were like,
What happened? I'm gone for 1 week.
Only for 1 week, and you guys let the world fall apart.
Oh, but actual games, I'm still playing Retro Game Challenge. Like, I know I've mentioned this in the past few shows after I picked it up, but I can't quit playing it. It's just so much fun. I've loved this game on the original DS. And as I've said before, it's basically like retro gaming the game, because you're going through years worth of mock video games, but each one is an actual full developed video game they made for it based on an old NES or Atari style or arcade game that you can play. Like, I got to the point now I'm playing through a Final Fantasy like original NES clone with a full battle system, map, and everything. They have cheat codes that you can find because they publish little fake gaming magazines throughout the time that you can go flip through and find cheat codes or what games are coming up next, like actual magazine stuff.
that sounds
just-
really in depth for
That's
the
really
console
cool,
that
though.
it's on.
It's absolutely amazing. Like, and the whole time you're playing it, the game is on the top screen, but you're playing as a little kid with the other kid that invited him over at the bottom, playing in front of the TV. And every once in a while, they'll talk to each other like, "Hey, you want a snack?" Or, "Oh man, you messed that up." Or so they're like,
Or
talking to him.
stepdad's angry again. Oh man, we
Oh,
should
no.
go in the other room. Oh no, that gets real dark.
Oh, man.
"Oh, dad's home and he's walking weird." That's not
Oh,
good.
no.
I think dad's drinking again. Oh crap.
It's weird niche stuff like that that reminds me of the time when when George, and Jeremy, you know who this is. George literally
Right.
comes up to me with a DS game in at work and goes, "You need to play this," and it's Henry Hatsworth.
I love that game.
It's
I still have
so strange, but so good.
Puzzle platformer.
It's a puzzle platformer, and then it's like as you defeat enemies, the enemies fall to the bottom screen, and you have to then switch to the bottom screen when the level gets too high, and then you have to like Tetris kill them, essentially. And
Oh,
it's
that's sick.
so wild.
The music in that game is fantastic too.
And
Like-
all the characters sound like that's how they talk.
I don't know, like the DS, I think, had some of the best just weird games. Like the only system I think that was even close to just having so weird of titles was like late PS2, where they were just like, there's so many of them, let's just make some weird stuff. You want to be a mosquito that just stabs people? Let's do it.
That
you know?
I speaking
Mr.
of like
Mosquito.
DS,
Mr. Mosquito.
yeah, speaking of like DS stuff, now I want to like play all of the Ace Attorney games and stream them. Thankfully, like the original trilogy is a little more easily accessible to stream now that it's on like Steam. But like the other games, I'm gonna have to figure out how to emulate. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, those would be kind of entertaining. But if for anybody that was like, it's my age or remembers like the old gaming magazines like EGM and stuff.
I love EGM. I miss that.
Yeah, well, there all the editors they have in their gaming magazines are like references and jokes about those people. Like they've got a guy that's directly, you can tell his name is like a reference to Dan Shu, who used to be one of the main editors over at EGM, and some of the different writers, the tip guy that they had and so forth. So it's such a throwback for stuff I used to do as a kid, which I think is part of, I think timeline wise, I've moved between 1984 up to 1987 is where I am now. Because every era, I think I've unlocked like 6 different games so far, and they all look like Famicom cartridges.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely great. The other thing I've been playing, which this finally came out last night, and that's Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Never
Not
heard of it.
Arceus, because
Yeah.
Nintendo does not want kids saying Arse, because, Europe. I mean, Arse is kind of, the thing there.
I guess. That is. I guess that makes sense.
I don't know. This game has been a lot of fun. Like you guys almost had to ask me to stop playing just to get on the show.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
were having
where's the
fun with it.
Geodude?
It's time.
You guys, you look like you were having so much fun with it, and then also from your stream earlier, Joey, I was
Yeah.
like, man, now I have to get this. I wasn't planning on getting this. But
Thank
now
you guys
I
for
have to get
tuning in.
this.
By the way, I appreciate it. That was
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Because it's like stuff like that. I never know like how good it is going to be to watch. Like I don't know if it's a good spectator game. So like it devolves into just immaturity and dumb jokes, but it kind of keeps
I was
it
there
lively.
for it. Like Frank had a really good sense of humor about it, making the jokes with all that. And
Oh.
I had fun just talking with the people while I was working.
Yeah. I always try
Frank
to
beats me.
tune into like other people's streams and like friends' streams and stuff like that, even if it's just for a little while, because I like supporting people. So
Oh yeah, same. I need to catch yours. Reminder to do that, which I will do.
We shall all exchange stream information.
And
Yeah.
emails.
We'll have that
Don't
at the end of
forget.
the show. Not
Yes.
emails, but we'll have the
No.
stream information.
eventually, I'd like to get everyone together to play Sea of Thieves on a stream. So I think
I'm
that
down
would be
for that.
fun.
I have
That'd
it.
be so much damn fun. I love that damn game.
But the general, because I've only played this for one night, I'm not giving like a full review for this game, obviously. The game is absolutely beautiful, but technically very broken, but very fun. I was seeing like there's major pop in of stuff as you're walking around. I had 3 Pokemon attack me at one time, and like the resolution took a noticeable, like everything became super crunchy, pixelated, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see all of that.
So a Switch game.
Very aggressive Switch
Definitely.
game, yes. It's still super fun. That's what's important. But I
So
posted
even
on
just
Twitter
walking around town.
Yeah, I posted a thing on Twitter right before the show. I'd walked up on some weird glitch where like I don't know if it's a tent or building or something, but it's like shooting around the screen. until it just finally disappeared, and I was like, well, that's not supposed to be there.
You discovered the hidden boss, the dancing building.
Yes, of course.
It's actually the super secret endgame boss. You encountered it early.
I was
the 907th Pokemon.
Yeah. Right, I was gonna make the joke. I was like, is this ancient Japan's Missing No? Like, 3D Missing No?
No, it's the Hisuian form of Missing No.
There you go. Yeah. So we had a glitch. So whenever you get into a battle with a Pokemon, it like stops and then like kind of zooms in on the Pokemon. And so Frank got into a battle, and then all of a sudden the camera just shifted all the way and then clipped through the ground and zoomed in through like broken polygons. And it absolutely took me out, man. There's a clip on it on our Twitch. It destroyed. That was actually how you get to Missing No. So we found two different paths
out
to
in my game. Like, we're connected online now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got into Jeremy's game. It was really messed up. I'm looking at him.
That reminds me of the time that I clipped through the map while playing Final Fantasy 15. And I just went, found a bug. And like literally I wasn't even doing anything. I was just walking and it just goodbye.
My most memorable clipping through the ground that I think had the most effect. Who remembers Superman 64?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bought that on launch day. I had no idea what was going on. And I played it, and I was playing through it, struggling to get through it. Like, I'd finally gotten a couple levels in. I got to this level. It starts. I take one step forward, and he just right through the floor. It just goes. And for some reason,
power activates.
Yeah, he's like, for some reason, he can't fly to get up there. It thinks I'm on the ground, but it won't let me fly. And it was like everything was lost, and I just started over. That was the very first game I ever bought, returned the same day. I was like, nope, I'm returning this. I went to Toys R Us. They had a no return policy. I explained it to them and made them return it. And ended up going home with Star Wars Pod Racer instead, and the expansion.
Arguably much better game.
Different kind of clipping in that one.
I thought you were going to say I ended up going home with the Toys R Us employee, and I was like, okay, damn, that's pretty good. Like, that's a return and an exchange. So hell yeah.
Hey, that's speech 100 right there.
That's a glitch in the world. Oh Lord,
I don't know how this happened. But...
Jeremy's wife is like listening and be like, "I'll get that man. I swear to God, I'll kill him. He's dead."
Yeah, she wouldn't care. So we've talked about what we've been playing. I'm just gonna laugh this whole show. Let's go into the news, because there's a whole bunch of news.
There's
that
so
a lot
much
of it
news.
just caught me by surprise.
Please tell me you put the one thing in here. I'm looking.
I don't know. I gave you a chance earlier to put stuff in here. And look.
I'm going to put it in here anyways. I'm going to talk about it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm going to start off on the one that I had to deal with because my daughter would and will not still stop talking about it. The new Kirby and the Forgotten Land trailer. And they announced that it'll be releasing March 25th, 2022. I know this news is a couple weeks old now, but I'm going to have to talk about it anyways because it's adorable.
It looks so cute.
I want to play it. The game looks absolutely amazing. Like, I'm shocked. I know we make the jokes about like it's a Switch game and so forth of how it looks, but Joey, even your cold, dead heart has to be like, Kirby's cute in this. It looks good.
I mean, I want to eat him.
He looks like a marshmallow.
He does. I just want to taste. I don't understand what's wrong about that. It's a natural urge.
He's invincible. There's got to be like infinite mass with the amount of stuff he eats. He'll regrow it. I bet he tastes like bubblegum.
That's why I want to eat him.
So we'll find out more about the game itself, but they did confirm that there is co-op in it, which is great. And I did confirm after that it is local only. It's not going to be online or system to system.
It's okay.
It's a little sad.
I'm going to play with my daughter for sure, but I would have kind of because we're buying 2 copies, because if I ever want to play this, I had to go ahead and order her own. Because it got to the point I would get a Kirby game on day 1 and I wouldn't get to play it for months. Because she would take it literally that day out of my hand, walk off with it, and I wouldn't see it again. And I'm like, I just paid for this. Like I didn't get to play Robobot till almost the end of the year.
It's like, I'm commandeering this. Goodbye.
And I can't tell her no. It's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's cute. So, yeah. We'll see how that changes. But March 25th, that's like really soon. Like, I'm kind of surprised by that.
It's kind of around the corner. I was like, oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
these short release dates again,
It's
which
like
is fine by me.
It's like, surprise, we're not giving you any time to save. We're releasing all of the things. When? Now.
It's ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew it was coming out, but we didn't know it'd be like that early in the year. So, I don't know.
Nintendo is like their release schedule is very peculiar. I can't speak apparently. It's been really funky.
understand.
It's like I feel like they, even with SMT5, I guarantee you internally the release date of SMT5 kept getting pushed back and like, oh, maybe could you do this earlier? Can you do this sooner? And there was probably a lot of productional mishaps with it. So I don't know. I wonder if Nintendo's okay. Are they going to be okay? They made a game go on sale recently. I don't.
That's true.
Yeah, that worried me.
about that.
They had a heck of a digital sale over the holidays. Like, I know it's not the physical games, but like their digital sale was just ridiculously good. I bought a lot of games again on digital. All right, well, moving on from that, just a quick one just to touch on this. A recent PlayStation Network bug caused PlayStation 3 trophies to start showing up on PS5, which of course fueled everyone's belief that backwards compatibility is coming to the PS5.
There's no
PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. And I'll be honest, I could see, and I kind of wish they would do it for PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2.
You just yeet all the digital stuff on there. Just put it there.
Do it.
Well, just make it where you can read the disc. But PS3, the way the actual system works is so complicated and convoluted. Well, even a PS5 would have trouble with it. But 1 and 2, come on, just put it out there. That's competition. Do it.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be that hard. For them, it really, honestly, it shouldn't be. But the thing is like with the PS3, and I remember this when I was wanting to stream it. I had to, of course, figure out, and I had to ask you, Jeremy. I'm like, everything I'm reading means you can't just plug, play, connect. You have to get another thing. And then you just send me a thing and went, here, just get this. And I went, oh, okay, cool.
Wasn't that one I just said to heck with it? And I was like, what's your address? All right, I bought it. You're good. There you go.
Yeah. And it was like this thing that you had to basically plug in the HDMI cable into the PS3.
Bypass,
yeah, a bypass. And I was like, why?
It strips the security out of it.
Yeah,
it's
like,
which is great because now I can get screenshots of Blu-rays from stuff for jokes. So
yeah.
Sorry, Sony, don't listen to that.
Yeah. I'm tagging the FBI, dude. You're done.
Crap, I'm done.
They're coming for you.
Foiled.
Mulder and Scully, both actually.
X-Files level FBI. I don't know if I should be happy or concerned, or
I'd be concerned. I'm like, why X-Files? It's so extreme. What?
That's what the X is for.
Yeah.
If few people know that piece they showed up, I'd be okay with that. All right. So this was kind of a back and forth or switch of everyone's stances originally. Microsoft officially ended production of the Xbox One, all of its versions, late last year, but didn't really announce it that much because they're wanting to focus, because of the chip shortages, on trying to produce Series X and Series S consoles. On the exact opposite of that, Sony has announced that because they can't get enough chips to make PS5s, that they're going to continue production of PlayStation 4s so that people can play the games that they're releasing on there. And it's just, it makes sense on both sides. I just find it really funny that they basically just like, hey, here's our ideology. Oh, no, we have ours. And they just switched. Like just hand it over to each other.
I get it. Because they want to keep making money. Like, that's the bottom line.
They have to, and they can't get consoles out.
They can't get, and the thing is like, I'm lucky I got my PS5. Like, I'm damn lucky that I was able to get it.
Lucky. I got both of mine. Like, both of them were a freak accident how I got them.
Well, and mine was, I happened to be talking to a friend of mine at the time, and then he was like, did you still want the PS5? And I go, yeah. And he goes, okay, I know the manager of this Target, and he tells me when all the, the things are going to be arriving. I'm going to get it for you, and you can just pay me back. And I said, oh, okay, thanks. And then I happened to be in Panama City, like, a couple of weeks later, and he was like, you're in Panama City, right? I said, yeah. And he goes, come over and get your PS5. And I said, okay. So I did. And now I have
Oh,
it.
there you go.
I only have
Come to this back alley.
I only have 2 physical games for it, and the rest are digital. I don't really have much for it yet, so I'm always looking for more things.
That's about
to
all
play.
you can fit on the hard drive.
I stole mine from a toddler.
You stole yours from a toddler? Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
like he was like
That's
all excited
valid.
to get it, and I just grabbed it, and I was like, "It's mine now." So,
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to
deserve
do.
that.
Like, what you gonna
Honestly.
do about it, punk?
yeah, well,
I
he
don't
couldn't
think-
he couldn't do anything about it. Was
This
he just
is-
step to me?
Listen. This is coming from a person that used to when a child would come up to the counter with a Grand Theft Auto, and then I would proceed to explain the game.
Oh,
to
that
the
would make my
parents.
day so happy every time
Oh.
I get to do that.
Oh man, and I would watch the light drain from the child's eyes, and the parent get super mad, and it just filled me with such secret pleasure.
Oh, I had kids yell. I had kids
and
yell at me.
callous.
Yeah,
Why are you telling them that?
So when you work in customer service long enough, you live
It's like-
for those days.
it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think anyone under the age of like 10 or even like 11 years old should really be playing that game, especially like it's Grand Theft Auto 5. Like,
would you like
three-
your little
three's
Johnny?
okay. Like three, what are they gonna do? Drive around in a car and do the cheats that make the cars fly to go on the next islands or whatever? Whatever. But
I
5,
always looked at it this way: if the parents came in, knew what the game was, and they were deciding
Yep.
their kids could play it and they wanted to get it, cool, because
Yep.
I would decide what my kids could play.
right?
But if kid came in dragging grandma along and he's
Mhm.
lying his butt off and she has
Or
no
Anji.
idea,
Yeah, that's different.
I'm
yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're about to wreck your day, kid.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
know what,
That
man?
was my
I'm just
favorite
working
thing.
retail. That's
was my-
not my job.
That was
Yep.
my favorite thing, was just doing that.
Let me tell you what little Johnny will learn about when he plays his Grand Theft Auto. He'll learn about
Mhm,
hookers
Yeah, I was just
Right.
gonna say it.
and
Well,
drugs and machine guns.
Well, speaking about what we've learned, let's talk about the giant, creature in the corner that I randomly discovered at 5:00 in the morning on Saturday, and
the
seriously,
Eldritch horror just to your
thought this
left
was
there.
a joke. Microsoft announces the purchase of Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion.
Why do you have that much money?
Well, their operational funds right now are over $7 or $8 trillion, and they have another, I think, 60 or 70 billion that they're looking for another acquisition on top of this. So
I'd hate to be the accountant for that. I'm just saying.
Well,
I would
here's-
like to be the accountant for them because they probably make a good bit of money.
So I'm looking at the list of IPs that they all have, and like literally me in my brain goes, okay, they can do whatever the hell they want with these series, but as long as they don't take my Spyro off of PlayStation, I'm fine.
I guarantee that's going to go. I could see it on Switch and Xbox probably.
If it's on
And
Switch,
PC.
that's fine. If it's on Switch,
If-
that's
if
fine.
Sony-
Even PC, I could handle, because I could just map the control scheme to a PlayStation controller, whatever.
And
But-
that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, okay, so Microsoft's taking control of these, and we'll go down the list and we'll kind of cover on that here. But
Yeah.
whatever you play these games on, they're happy. Like that's the beauty of what Microsoft's trying to do with this. Be it their consoles, be it on PC, you're enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had someone tell me, like, "Oh, I'm not buying an Xbox. I've got a really good gaming PC," and I'm like, "Well, then they already have you. Like, what's
Yeah,
the difference?"
Yeah,
for
that's
them?
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no
Right.
difference.
Mhm.
You go and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna pick up Forza Horizon 5," and I'm like, "Cool, I have it on my Xbox. We're literally gonna be able to play it, and it's not gonna be any different. Like, we're
Mhm.
still playing it."
Exactly. So
But-
like I
Go ahead.
but I totally get it, because I'm like Spyro, because those are always on PlayStation. I'm like, Spyro, that's the only thing I care about. The rest of it, I'm like, Guitar Hero, Call of Duty,
But
Yeah,
the
Call
thing
of
I
is,
Duty
feel
was
like-
the highest selling PlayStation title last year already.
wow.
Well,
The
Over
thing is,
everything.
though, is that like so it's a company. We forget this. They're not trying to limit stuff. Like they're not trying to limit stuff just to limit it for exclusivity. They
Right.
limit stuff only if it makes them more money doing that, right? So like they're not gonna make Spyro Microsoft exclusive if it could be more profitable being multi-platform. And Microsoft is very flexible with that. That's why we had Cuphead on Switch. That's why you have Ori on Switch. That's why you have
That's
a
why we
lot
just
of
got
their,
Banjo-Kazooie on Switch.
And-
mhm.
right, like which is again possibly the hardest roguelite I've ever played in my life. And So it's like they definitely want to like proliferate their titles as much as they can. But it, so that's the thing, that the bottom line is always dollars, right? And that's what the S in Microsoft is, man. It's a money sign.
Yeah, I mean, the trade-off for that is they also understand the visual of that, because that's the biggest argument everybody has for on PlayStation side is, oh, Xbox has no games. They have no exclusives. They're not going to be able to do any of that. So they make these acquisitions or they announce these games and they're like, well, these are going to be exclusive. Everyone's like, well, that's not fair. You can't have both.
That's not how that works. You don't get to have both.
What do you mean? You bought them. What? You're not supposed to have exclusives.
Right. It's just like, this has happened before. Sony has bought companies and made the series exclusive. They've paid companies to make their games exclusive. That's why Final Fantasy 16 is only on PlayStation, because they went to Square, paid a buttload of money and said, no, we want this just for us. And everyone was fine with that. Even though Final Fantasy for the longest time has been also on Xbox. They have been. You think about it, almost every one of the Final Fantasies are available on Xbox right now.
Yeah. I mean,
that's going to happen over time.
Yeah, I think so. I'm great with timed exclusivity. Like, I have a PlayStation mainly for RPGs and adventure games, and the reason why Square keeps it like that is because Sony helped them, like really dug them out of a hole way back in the day. They gave them the capital to really do what they wanted to do with their games. And they remember that. They're not going to forget that.
Well, a lot of that wasn't Sony bailing them out. It was Square falling under and Enix buying them out.
Well, yeah.
Everyone forgets Enix is the one that bought Square.
Yeah, they bought Square.
They kept Square's name because
Square had the cloud.
Yeah,
right.
But it still ended up, Sony did help them too, and they remember that.
Oh yeah.
So like most of my friends' copies of Kingdom Hearts 1 says Square Enix on it. Did you know that?
Yeah, when they bought it. Yeah, I think that was when they last.
Mine says Squaresoft. So if you bought it closely after release or with the first greatest hits one, it was said Squaresoft. But if you bought it anytime after that, Square Enix was on there. So
now I have to go look.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, just wait here a minute.
Yeah. Mine says Squaresoft.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah.
Remind me later to look at that. Now I'm like stupidly curious. So this picks up Activision, Blizzard, and King, which is Candy Crush and like a lot of mobile phone games, which they had picked up some other stuff too. So that's a whole nother market for that.
King Games is a whole nother ball game that that will definitely increase the revenue, because you got the old grandmas who are like, I can't figure this level out in Candy Crush Sody Pop Adventure Ultimax or whatever version they have.
Ultimax, yeah, they're fine. They get Persona. Grandma gets a Persona.
Yeah,
it's wild.
So, I'm gonna pay $1 or $2, however, to get past this level. I'm good, So yes, they will. That is definitely a revenue gain for them. And the Blizzard. Gosh, we did. I think we did talk about Blizzard last podcast. That's their issue to deal with now, I guess, or whatever's going to happen with that.
Well, okay, so before we dig into the games, we'll talk about their two major issues they have and how we think this is going to kind of resolve it. Bobby Kotick is the first one, and it's been all but confirmed he's out.
Oh yeah,
he'll be here for the time.
There.
Well, he's already like. You guys ever remember the term senioritis? Your last year of school, where you're like, well, you're about to finish, and you just don't care anymore.
Don't give a shit.
You're showing up late for things. You're skipping days. He's already started doing that. Like, they've had meetings where he's supposed to be talking to people to like explain about the whole thing, and he's like, it's a freaking Zoom meeting, and he's showing up late for it, and then decided to leave early and just acting blasé about it. Well, he's like, I'm getting my golden parachute. I'm just ready to jump out of the plane.
No,
he doesn't care. Yeah,
he definitely has a golden parachute. His settlement is massive.
I'm sure it is.
When they hit that button to let him go, he's going to be living in the Bahamas.
He's still under the target of California with their legal stuff. So I'm kind of hoping they finally nail him to the wall. But this is the best I think Microsoft can do to get him out of there. They're like, look, we're going to have to honor these contracts and pay him out to go. But I think they're doing it to make sure he goes, to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people are like, "Oh, Microsoft's enabling them." Like, no, they're doing the lesser, the most they can do to get them out.
Yeah,
It's
they've
the
been pretty
lesser of
so
two
they
public.
don't
evils.
have to deal with it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you go now. You're on your own. You go do your thing. You have plenty of money now. Don't even come crying to
He's
us.
already got plenty of money. That guy could
Yeah.
just move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
the
mean, you
lesser of
can't-
two evils. So
Yeah. The other side of this is all the stuff between Activision and especially at Blizzard with the sexual harassment, the treatment of like the women that are there, the stuff with the testers, everything that's going on for a lot of the employees. Microsoft's been very verbal about that even before they announced the purchase, that they were literally disgusted with how it was handled and how it needs to be done. So normally they've tried to be better about, like, if they get a company in, they give them those freedom to try and govern themselves. I think this is going to be the exception to that rule, where they're going to let them govern themselves after they come in and hose the place down.
Pretty
Like,
much.
we're going to clean you out and then let you kind of rebuild it under our protection, I think.
Yeah, I
it's
think
more like osmosis. Like they're trying to absorb everything that they can pull out from Blizzard. Like people make Microsoft sound like a white knight in this situation. It's like, bro, they're just making money.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
they're
no, I'm
gonna
not.
make them.
I'm not
They're
trying
not.
to make it out like a savior
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but even from their own view, they've, based on their previous statements, if they don't do this now, how is that going to look on them later on?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
it's good that they're doing it. This is what they should be doing,
Mhm.
but God help them if they don't. The blowback
Right.
they'll get.
Mhm.
So
I mean, Microsoft has already received enough criticism over the years, especially with, how various Xbox console launches have gone. So they
TV,
know
TV.
exactly. They know that they have to be very careful. I mean, all the gaming companies and software developers and hardware, all of them have to be very careful now, because they're under a microscope, and they've been under a microscope now for years, more so than I think ever before, as the world grows and technology advances and stuff like that, and people become more tech savvy. There's things that they can and cannot do now. So they're doing
Yep.
what they can to make money and all that.
Well, I mean, this is a massive merger. This is one of the largest
Huge.
media purchasing ever, but this still only makes them the third largest publisher.
Mhm.
They're still behind on publishing power behind Sony and Tencent. And Tencent is the one people need to be keeping an eye on,
Yep.
that everyone just kind of drops out of the conversation and acts like this is some old school Sony versus Microsoft, and completely ignoring this massive decaying body that's absorbing things behind them that has no moral for how they've been treating stuff and doing things. So that's the one I'm more concerned about. Every time Tencent buys something, I'm going, well, that's dead.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
No, it's always in the back of my mind, but then it's not really at the forefront. But I think Tencent themselves are very particular about how they identify themselves in certain things. Like, you could play a game and you not know that Tencent made it, because they don't put their
Yep.
credits in there. Like, you
Exactly.
just would have no idea.
Well, their most
And that's
recent, they bought
sleazy.
out Turtle
It
Rock.
is
So
very
Yeah.
sleazy.
Like it's like, it's almost like, it reminds me of like a lot of like monopolization stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a dangerous precedent, and that's not just for Tencent, that's for Microsoft too.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
for Sony.
no, I agree.
And it's like, I mean, granted, I do think, like, if you're trying to choose the greatest of the evil, I think Tencent is the all-consuming, voracious, eldritch horror, slowly, like going towards shore, ready to feast. But like, but yeah, no, it's like it is a scary precedent, and it's like, I mean, we contribute to it. We buy games with these publishers and these developers, and it's like, it's really difficult to try to distance ethical consumption versus just enjoying yourself and trying to do whatever you can under the guises of capitalism, right? Like, it's
Right.
it's scary, and it's like, what do you do as a
Well-
consumer? What do you do? Like, I don't know.
Well, I asked this a little bit on your stream earlier, just kind of as a warm-up question for that, but I wanted to ask the three of you about this. I know, given, like, personally, I haven't played Overwatch. I haven't really messed with any, like, my Diablo, most of the stuff from Activision, if I can usually get around it. because all this stuff's going on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to back off from that for a bit. But given that this purchase is happening, the power is changing hands. They're trying to fix a lot of this stuff. For you personally, does that affect anything of like, would you be going back to play any of these titles, or are you going to wait and see, are they going to make good on that? And are you going to give them the benefit of the doubt and go ahead and go back for now?
So the latter point is exactly what Microsoft is doing. Like,
Right.
literally exactly. So they're waiting for people, for all that bad press to filter out.
Mhm.
And it's not like they don't genuinely like want that company to be better, because they do. Obviously, it makes them more money anyway. But like,
Right.
that's their plan. Their plan is to be like, okay, well, after we we assimilate all these IPs that were once beloved, then we can start pushing this and making it better again. So I don't know, man. I don't really care about Blizzard anymore. They're not the same company. It's a different thing to me now.
I have never cared about Blizzard. I tried to play WoW like back in the day. My buddy John got me a couple of free trials or whatever on it.
I was just right in the veins. Give me that. I was
Like-
right in WoW.
Like I tried and I literally was like, I don't see the fun in this. And then I didn't play it. I loved Spyro. I loved playing all the Spyro kids as a kid and all of that. But I think that would be the only games I ever like on the list. Honestly, the only game that I've ever played that's by them with any amount of time. So
Well,
that's it.
And this is nowhere near a total list. This is just some of the ones off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Caleb, do you have any input on this? I know you're an Overwatch player as well.
Well, okay, so I haven't really touched Overwatch in a while, just because I'm just like, team shooters right now. I'm just kind of drama, waiting for Overwatch 2, kind of thing. I do still play Hearthstone. I like my card games, so
Okay.
I'll play Hearthstone. I haven't really dumped money into it recently, and I think I will not be doing that from this point on, honestly, just with all the stuff happening. I was like, all right, one last time, I'll buy the expansion, whatever. But after this, it's not happening more. I want to try to save some money this year. So I might just do that free to play style. Honestly, whatever happens to Hearthstone, I think Hearthstone's doing pretty okay at the moment. It seems to be treading water just fine with players and everything. And then I do play Heroes of the Storm, but I haven't really put any money into that at all. That one might die eventually at some point.
Games like Overwatch and all those kind of like games like it have literally no interest to me. And a lot of the titles on the list that you compiled have no interest to me. So I don't think I'll have a problem avoiding these titles. So
I would love to see Prototype come back. I'm all for it. Microsoft, if you bring back Prototype series.
Well, like I said, if you go back and look, there probably are a lot of titles that you would be interested in. This is just stuff off my top of my head that I put in here. And I know we don't always play the same types of games. I play good ones and you play fun ones.
No, we don't.
Oh, shots fired.
I play Final Fantasy as well. I just like picking on her. This is a joke that's gone back for a long time.
It is. I have a very eclectic taste, specific taste in gaming, and people like to. Jeremy specifically likes to poke fun at it. So,
hey, you give as good as you get on that.
I do.
You give me so much crap for a lot of titles.
I do.
Overwatch, I played a little bit. Say what?
Isn't that what friends are for?
Right?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I played Overwatch a little bit because a friend of the show, Remy, kind of pointed out, I was like, well, we've already bought the game. We just won't buy any more loot boxes or any other stuff. We'll just play it because, well, that just costs them server time and we already have it. So we might as well enjoy it. It's not really giving them any extra money on it.
Extra money. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say what's done is done. Just,
yeah.
And, like, I don't see a problem with playing the game, current issues withstanding. Like, I don't see a problem with playing the games themselves. Just maybe don't give them revenue at that point.
I've always been my mix on that was the fact that, like, yeah, we're upset with what some part of the company's doing, but there are actual developers, artists, musicians, people that are making these games and going like, hey, we're in this hellish place. We're trying to make it better. This is the game we made that we want people to enjoy. Yeah. And there's no right or wrong on this. Like people
No.
are going to give you crap for playing it. People are going to give you crap for not.
I think it's
Do
important.
what you're comfortable with.
I think it's important, and this can go. Another example of this is the drama that's going around with Hogwarts Legacy, for example. I think I think it's very similar in nature. But I think it's important to note that, you know, if you're gonna buy a game, even though there's like, or support a company or whatever, even though there's drama going on with it, it's important to separate the art from the artists in some respects. And it's also important to remember who you're supporting in addition to people that you'd rather not support. So if you want to play a game, buy it for the composer, buy it for the artists, buy it for the programmers, buy it for those people. That's who primarily you're supporting. That's whose livelihood you are supporting, and that's who is going to be able to continue to do their job and keep their job and do something that they love because you've supported them. And that's always the argument that I give when people are like, I can't believe you're still buying Hogwarts Legacy. Like, I'm doing it because I want to play it and I want to support the people who made it, not the lady. So
yeah.
But
all right, so just to go down a couple of these, just to kind of the size of this, why this one kind of blew me away. These are all now officially going to be Microsoft IPs. Call of Duty, all of them.
Wow.
All of them.
The Tony Hawk series, the Warcraft series, be it all of the normal Warcraft games, World of Warcraft, all that fun stuff, which may not be the biggest MMO for a lot of stuff now, but it is not something to sneeze at for the amount of money
it was once the biggest, most well-known. So,
and it still brings in a ridiculous amount of money.
StarCraft too, like that one,
Yep.
man, one of my friends, like as soon as this happened, I messaged him and I was like, yo, StarCraft's under Microsoft's umbrella now. And he was like, oh, damn. Cause he plays, he primarily plays, believe it or not, on Mac. So
I remember I still have my original StarCraft CD and it was PC and Mac on the same disc.
Yeah, that was rare then. That was really rare.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was Blizzard. Rare was making other games.
StarCraft is like, oh, I see what you did there.
Sorry.
StarCraft is like
he'll see himself out.
StarCraft is in the running for me for like the best game ever.
So I'm sorry. Say it one more time, Joey.
StarCraft is to me is like one of the best games ever made, and I think you can see that like, in its legacy, in its like competitive scene, and it's like. But that being said, like, you know, it's like, what are you going to do with a game that's already existed? And I think, Caleb, you brought up the fact that, like, you know, like, you don't want to support things that are coming out in the future, but, like, you know, giving them $15 if you wanted to play StarCraft Brood War, to do so, it's not as big of a deal. Or you could just pirate it. So you should just pirate it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to pirate it, just pirate it.
The Zenspath Full Button Podcast does promote and accept piracy as a means of game preservation. I'll say it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do it, that's your call. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would like to see, like, if Microsoft brought the team that did Halo Wars, because I really did enjoy Halo Wars 1 and 2, and, like, let them help make a console version of a new StarCraft. Like, that would be great. I would enjoy that because it would be PC and console and everything. Crash Bandicoot is now an Xbox title.
Yeah, didn't see that coming 2022.
Hilarious.
That was not on our bingo card.
Nope. Spyro and all of Skylanders is on there. Diablo, Overwatch. I like Skylanders. Guitar Hero and Band Hero Prototype, as Caleb was so happily pointing out.
As someone who has unpacked boxes of individual Skylanders and had to deal with the releases of them,
I did it too.
Yeah, I know.
I still have the sets here. I have the kids, so I had to be on the side that has them.
Yeah, you did.
Your dog does not play Skylanders. My kids do.
She does not.
All of a sudden, all the pets are coming to. My cat is also trying to.
And one of my kids just walks in, like, yeah, close enough.
Your breath is so bad.
So some of the older IPs that I would like love, because Microsoft made a point, they talked about old IPs that have been kind of ignored because Activision has become kind of just a machine pumping out Call of Duty, making every developer they have work on Call of Duty. Like even after this last Tony Hawk game, wow, I'm literally the only one without a pet here. This is great.
Sucks to be you.
Watch the video version for animal love, apparently.
They're taking over the podcast.
They're like, it's
So-
time for cuddles.
I have a toy duck. No, Caleb will appreciate this one.
Bi-
So
Yes.
my little
Big
Metroid.
dog.
Best pet.
Big Dog still thinks his lap dog.
Oh yeah. Joey, your dog's adorable.
Woo!
Is he okay?
She's fine. She's fine. She landed perfectly on her. Vivi, what's wrong?
Oh my goodness.
She's wagging her tail. She's very happy.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
Dog
Vivi.
left.
Oh, so cute.
So Microsoft made a point to talk about letting a lot of the developers that were under Activision that were having to do Call of Duty year in and year out, they can go off and bring back old IPs that they want to work on or other creative ideas. They're not going to make them all work on just Call of Duty, which is good. I think Call of Duty needs to have kind of a break, like give it time.
Let it
And
have a nap. It's the series. The series has really suffered, honestly.
Call of
because
Duty
of the
Legends
constant-
Arceus.
because of the constant release schedule. Like everyone's like, Rachel, I don't get why you don't play Call of Duty, and I'm like, what? It's just same game, different war. That's literally what it is. Same
Call of Duty
different war.
Arceus, Joey, you're sitting there, you're playing the game, shooting at the other soldiers. You throw a grenade, and it hits the other soldier, and then sucks him into it. The look of horror in his face as he's pulled into the grenade, like that's a Pokeball.
Speaking of Pokemon and guns, have you seen that Pokemon clone thing where it's got like guns and
Yes.
Yeah,
and-
that's
yeah.
a whole other thing that we're tangenting off on.
yeah, okay.
So,
But
because
just
they're
wanted
letting
to say
them,
that.
yeah, because they're letting them kind of bring back those. I was looking at some of the old defunct series that Activision and Blizzard have that I would like to see come back. And like, do you guys remember any of these? Like Vigilante 8?
Oh yeah, I
Interstate-
remember that. I played
yeah.
on N64.
I played it on Dreamcast and N64 for sure. Interstate 76, which is an older PC take on that. Pitfall, specifically the Pitfall: The Mine Adventures. Like that game, it was a Super Nintendo and Genesis level title, but it was like hand animated by cartoonists.
So good.
It's
The only
so-
one I
so
recognize
good.
is Pitfall, which is my gaming interest. So
There you go.
Vigilante
The Lost-
8.
yeah.
Sorry.
The Lost
Sorry,
Vikings, which was a very old Blizzard one with 3 Vikings that it's like you can take turns doing stuff.
You
Rock
can
and Roll
play-
Racing, which no one seems to remember but me.
I remember that. Yeah, that's like super old school though.
Thank you. Yeah, but now they can have actual music in it, not just chiptune versions.
Right.
And then Blackthorn, it fixed it. It's supposed to be Blackthorn, not Black Throne.
Oh,
called
that's
Black
my
Hawk
that's
in
my
you.
black metal band.
Black Throne?
Throne.
Yeah.
But one last thing before we move on from the Activision stuff, Twitter friend of the show, the dad guy at MDC_IRL said that they should quote or use this to quote, definitely add warthogs and banshees to WoW for mounts.
Hey, there you go.
I'm kind of here for that. Like
that
just
would
seeing
be
some
funny
orc
as hell.
go flying by in a warthog.
You go to some random goblin out in the middle of nowhere. It's like, hey, I found some alien tech and it turned into vehicles. Here you go.
Lord.
Basically.
You just run around.
Lord.
So we'll have to see how this one goes, but it's such big news. It's going to go for a while. We're going to be hearing about this for a bit.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next story here real fast. Percy Jackson and the Olympians officially greenlit for Disney Plus.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is confirmed. Yeah, Amanda and the kids were just as happy too. Confirmed by the author Rick Riordan in a short video released on January 25th. So he's directly involved, directly controlling it. And this is actually a really, really good series.
It is so good.
I'm curious to
Also-
see it done more accurately now.
Also, I'm very excited for. I don't have a visual representation. I'm excited for. Let me see if I can find a damn pen. Where? Oh, here we go. Got it. Found it. I am so ready for the fact that we're gonna, instead of getting the pen click Riptide, the uncap Riptide. That's all we wanted. That's all we needed.
Oh, the sword.
The sword. It's literally his pen is supposed to turn into a sword because it's an old-fashioned pen that when he uncaps it, it turns into the sword. Not clicks it.
I'm just thinking of someone like sitting there not thinking about chewing on a pen, uncaps it, and they're found dead with a sword in their head.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Just
But I'm so excited for this because last was it last year? No, it was 2020 when I was furloughed from work and my mom had come to stay with us. She and I watched both of the movies, the Percy Jackson movies, ironically, and laughed the entire time because they were not great, obviously. And, the poor actors can't help that the script is bad. They can't help it. Like, there's nothing they can do. So I'm very excited that, as he is referred to on Twitter, which is Uncle Rick, that's what people call him. I'm so excited that he's finally getting to do this, which is what he has wanted to do for so dang long. And it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I personally liked when he job changed into Ranger Rick and started doing magazines instead. that was the big loop that he threw us all for. Just a very versatile man.
Yeah, it's nice that they offer the job changing functionality. He levels up one, switches to another one.
Exactly, and he gets
cross
to keep
leveling
some of his abilities. Yeah,
yeah.
I have
I'm giving out magazines, but I'm still an author.
He wants to.
That's what I was getting at. Yes.
You want to be a white mage? I got a white mage. Magnetic soul stone.
He is a white mage, I think. Although I think he's a white guy. Let's see.
He's white. He's white.
He'll contact you directly on Twitter for those soul stones, so he could do a job change if this whole thing doesn't go well. So
he's like everyone's friendly older dad.
He really is.
Not even in a creepy way. He's like a legit, really nice person from everything I've seen.
He is, and he's helped a lot of aspiring authors get their work out there through his various Rick Riordan Presents stuff. And coming from someone who reads a whole heck of a lot. I have so many books, it's not even funny, and I will just buy new books without even finishing other books. It's a problem. It's delightful to see an author with such adaptability and longevity when it comes to their series and what they're trying to achieve and just everything. It's so great to see an author like that when you don't really see that. And he's so wholesome. I've never heard anybody talk bad about the guy, and I hope I never do. So
he's a jerk. There, you heard someone talk. I lied.
Just to do it. Yeah, he went there.
Well, don't talk about him like that.
I heard he eats puppies.
I feel bad.
No.
All right. So, if anyone listening to this thinks they're hearing a French horn in the background, you're not crazy. I don't know if it's picking up my wife practicing in the other room. It's louder than I thought it would be.
We can't hear it.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if someone's listening to this going, I swear to God, I think I hear a horn. That might
all
be
the French horn enthusiasts out here who also listen to the podcast, they know.
Right. I think I hear an Alex 4-valve. I don't know. So Crytek announces Crysis 4 officially after an accidental media leak dropped it. And they were just like, whoa, whoops. Well,
was it accidental?
Was it
though?
Was it though?
Was it?
Well, it's no release time announced or gameplay shown, but it's like, hey, we're working on a new Crysis. Bye.
Maybe it was accidentally on purpose, maybe.
I can't even tell anymore because that crap happens so often.
It does.
Where they do it on purpose and you don't know it.
Companies do weird timed leaks all the time to gauge people's reactions to stuff, and then if they react badly, or if like they did a number of years ago with a book that might have come out, if they then try to steal it from a publishing website and then then put it out into the world and ruin it for everybody, then it never happens. So got to be careful with leaks. Got to be real careful with leaks, especially now.
Yeah. Well, the other development information that popped up recently, Retro Studios shows signs of development life for Metroid Prime 4 by announcing a job opening for tools engineer and technology engineer.
And now we will witness Caleb having an out-of-body experience.
Dude, I want so badly to believe that Metroid Prime 4, because it's my belief that I don't think it's going to be called Metroid Prime 4. I think it's going to be repurposed as something else. But I want so badly to believe that it's going to be good, but there's just so much evidence piling against it, and it makes me so wary. It's so very wary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried as well because of that, but I don't think this is any indication of like more delays or
Right.
how long it's taking. It's very common for companies to hire people throughout the entire position.
Yeah.
You know, that happens. Everyone's just like, oh, it's the fact that this is the only thing about Metroid Prime 4
This is the
we've heard
news we
about.
get, yeah.
That's what makes people worried.
We have some Metroid news. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, they hired somebody.
The little.
It's going to get to the point like later this year to be like, Metroid Prime 4's development may be in evidence because we found a plumber went to the building to work on the toilet. So someone is there using the toilet. So
Retro Studios hired a plumber, guys.
Yes, a
They're
sign
working.
of life.
Well, that just proves that they're not crunching because the devs would be pooping their pants, you know, and they wouldn't need a plumber. So that's what that says.
Yeah, it's true.
Pooping.
So I'm gonna ask each of you in turn, and Caleb, just to torture you, I'm gonna make you answer last. Joey, you're our guest. I'll start with you first. Do you actually think we're going to see, not get, but at least see what Metroid Prime 4 is, either as Prime 4 or whatever replacement game title, by E3 this year?
It's in June, right?
Yeah.
I think it's possible you might see like a very vague teaser.
Mm-hmm.
Like a couple.
Anything's got to be more than
the gift, the moving gift we got
of the logo
4 years ago, 3 years ago.
But it'll have like a sound effect in it this time.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna be great.
I think it's possible you'll see something this year, but I wouldn't really get my hopes up about it because it's very clear that this is like going to be the last big title for Switch. You know, like or like the last of the Switches, right? Like you got Breath of the Wild 2 and then this, and
right.
So I think like they're definitely kind of pushing this off as much as they can because they want it to be like a good end for the console. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we still got Bayonetta 3 this year too.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So I think it's likely 60% chance we'll see something this year.
Okay, so you're fairly hopeful on that.
And I think Dread
Rachel,
did
you have
lot.
A very dour look on your face, so this should be interesting. What you got?
Considering the amount of time that has been since they've said anything, like
2 years since they restarted development with Retro.
Yeah.
Yes, but then I'm thinking since the announcement, you know.
Yeah, it's like 4 years.
Yeah, considering the amount of time and my experience with this kind of long development scheme, of which I am very experienced with, because I did 12 years of waiting for a game, so I understand.
We had to wait for Metroid Dread.
Yeah, and so I think we're more to explain my doubt. I think we're more likely to hear about the next Kingdom Hearts title at E3 than we are of Metroid Prime 4.
I'll believe it. I'll take that. Yeah,
that's super fair though.
Those are the odds. But I mean, it is an anniversary year for Kingdom Hearts, so that's why we're more likely. It's more likely.
Getting the SquareSoft Kingdom Hearts, not the Square Enix Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah,
that's how likely
Kirby
it is
Kingdom
that we'll
Hearts
see
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Kirby Kingdom Hearts to combine with that anniversary.
Yep.
So you're thinking basically 0%. We're not seeing it this year.
I am not putting I'm not putting any eggs in that basket. I'm just saying that. I'm really not.
No more balls in the basket.
That's fair, honestly.
These hands are dry. Start getting them ready to fry.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb. I know you've been wanting to say something. Go for it.
The speculative Metroid fan in me believes that there's absolutely no way Jose chance that we will ever see anything on Metroid Prime 4 because it's a Metroid game and therefore it doesn't really exist.
Yep.
But knowing what I know, I also too believe it is a 60% chance. It's unlikely, but I'll be fine if we even get a trailer of some sorts this year. Maybe just like a small animation trailer, maybe like a 30-second. Just please don't do a GIF again. That's all I ask. I mean, the GIF made me cry, and it makes me cry whenever I go watch it again.
But you'll have a new background for your phone.
Yeah. But I think, like you were saying before, yeah, Dread I think was pretty good. It has satiated the Metroid fan in me for a long while. I can wait. I can wait a bit. I got another
Okay.
19 years of waiting left in me.
So I'm gonna side on the fact I'm actually kind of more agreeing with Rachel on this one. I give a 0% chance that we're gonna see Metroid this year because I'm still in the belief that we will see it at next year's E3, delayed as a launch title for whatever system replaces the Switch. I think we're in the development point, and that graphically could be a show-off title. That's what it's going to be. We're going to finish off the Switch in its current form with Breath of the Wild 2, and then we're going to have Metroid Prime 4 as a launch title, and maybe like enhancements if they do something backwards compatible with if you play Breath of the Wild 2 on it as well.
Yeah, I could
So
totally
what
see
I
that.
what I
see
foresee
that.
them doing with that, because it just came into my mind, they would release Breath of the Wild 1 and 2 as a bundle, as a game that you can get on whatever new model they do. So I think that would be interesting, and a good way to sell the console too. So
You mean like how Sony does with here's the Uncharted collection for
That's-
PS5
yeah.
that was also on PS4 that came from PS3 that
Yep.
What if you
it ain't
open the
broke,
Breath of the
don't
Wild
fix it.
bundle and it's just Genshin Impact? And you're like, oh,
they got me again.
Dad.
Dang it!
Grandma,
God
did you talk to that
dang
lady at the store? I told you don't say Grand Theft Auto, just get the game.
Guess I'll just throw some rolls out here. What did I get? No 5 stars.
As
Okay.
many of my friends who play Genshin Impact would say, you can never have enough Zhongli. So
That's a game I don't even want to try because everyone's just like, it's so much fun. I'm like, I don't want to get into this.
it is fun, but it's complicated. But it's fun.
Also
It's
evil.
Literally, I was explaining it to a friend of mine, and then they said, "Well, what is it like?" And I said, "If it's Breath of the Wild, if it was a gacha game." And they go, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, exactly."
Gotcha.
It's not wrong.
Oh, I see Joey's joke now.
Uh-oh.
Open up Breath of the Wild and it's that. They gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Well played, sir.
I'm in it for the long haul.
You are. You really
Good,
laid into
because
that
my
joke.
attention sucks.
So
What also sucks is this is very depressing news, but Sega announces they are officially leaving the arcade business after 50 years
Wow.
of operation by selling all their remaining shares in the business. All existing Sega arcades in Japan will be rethemed as Gigo arcades.
That's really depressing. A little bit.
So I wish we had the Sega choir sound effect, but instead of it being a happy,
Sega.
yeah, exactly, but convert it to a minor key so it sounds sad and replace Sega with Gigo.
That's
Sega.
See that's also a continuation of the Sega at home joke I was going for with Genshin Impact. So hell yeah.
There you go.
Logically similar. Hell yeah.
And the music brain part of me is happy with this choice. So,
but I mean, growing up, like Sega, before I ever messed with the Genesis, like their arcade presence was like just so huge. All the different ones you'd find, Afterburner and things like that, Golden Axe and all those other ones.
I have a very specific memory of being at the orthodontist as a child and being in the waiting room. And there was a big white and blue Sega arcade machine that had a Sega Genesis inside. But the Sega Genesis was on this platform where the platform was painted and styled with like things around it with like rings and little Sonic figures to look like Green Hills. And you could play like 3 Sonic games on it. And it was awesome. You could only play for like 20 minutes at a time, which was like the perfect amount for a waiting room. I don't know how they managed to program it to do that, but
Sega also had the bigger versions of these, the Sega Astro City arcade cabinets. This is the portable one if you're watching the video version that I got from Limited Run Games that has a bunch of their arcade games on it. So I'm just going to be looking at this and be like, it's okay, Sega. You still have an arcade here. There's still an arcade here.
Now I find myself wondering if that arcade cabinet survived. So,
yeah. One of my golden geese is a F-Zero AX machine, which I'll never get because I'm not rich.
If you do get a Game Shark disc or whatever, which one it was.
Oh yeah, you can
play it on the GI. Yeah, it's not the perfect request, but
you gotta get
that cabinet is so. I wish I could see one. Like I've seen pictures, and I'm like, I just want to sit in it. Come on, guys. I had one last story to end on a happier note, but apparently Caleb has another story he wants to talk about. He added, so let's hit that first before we get to mine. Caleb, go for it.
I mean, did you guys hear about Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII showing up at the Italian Senate hearing?
What?
Oh yeah.
So,
oh my God, so many messages I received about this. So many.
It's a certain. She showed up on like their Zoom call as a certain type of video.
How could that happen?
It was a hacker hacked into
certain type of video.
Certain type of video.
It was very adult.
Can we see some digibits here?
Yeah, yep. Showing Tifa in her off time. You know.
What she really gets up to when she's not saving the world.
Yeah, you know. It was an award-winning video for physics. Apparently, that was a very specific thing.
Jiggle physics,
yeah,
is what it was. Yeah,
this hack brought to you by Team Ninja.
And so now I don't know if you guys have seen, but now everybody's drawing Tifa, like fan art of Tifa in Italy. And it's the funniest thing. And I'm like, I'm glad we got this year instead of what we got last year.
And what was really
this time of year.
What was kind of vaguely amusing is I just saw another tweet about this particular thing, and it goes, "Well, I didn't have Tifa getting awarded a seat, like a seat in the Italian Senate." And then literally it had a 3D rendering of her in a nice business suit sitting in a chair just smirking with a shrug. Like,
how did I not see anything about this?
Like,
I don't know.
Literally all of the weird like comics of like her reacting to this news. Like, I did what?
Well, Joey, you seem just as surprised as I was. Like, how did we miss this? I thought we were more connected on the internet than this.
The only reason I knew is because I got sent a dozen messages because, Final Fantasy VII is my thing. And then I heard about it at work because I was in the back, and one of my friends in another department yelled at me. Rachel. Yeah. Right. They yelled at me and they go, "Rach, did you see the thing that happened with the Italian Senate?" And I'm like, oh my God, you're the 8th person to say this. And we just started laughing. Oh my God. It was that was not on my bingo card. I'll say that.
It wasn't. No,
nobody could ever guess.
I'm glad it's on my bingo card now.
In your defense, if we had finished with yours, we'd still be ending on a happy high note on that one. Like, what the crap?
Note, more likely.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
I do feel kind of sorry for all the older men on the Italian Senate that had to witness that.
They were
probably the most I've seen in a while.
Their poor blood pressure, though.
You could just. I saw a censored
poor
version
old Italians
of the video.
found dead on the ground from heart attacks.
Yeah.
I saw a censored version of the video. You could just hear everything is going normal. The video pops up, and all of a sudden you just hear angry Italian, just like, I don't understand.
Dude, it's so good. I have a good story about
doing
this.
The hand thing.
So I heard about that when the news first broke. But I procrastinated watching the video. So by the time a couple days had passed, I wanted to see the video of that happening live because I wanted to see the reactions and I wanted to whatever. So then I couldn't find it. So I was Googling because someone paid Google to take a lot of those results out. So I was like, I want to see the original video. So I'm in bed. This is at midnight. I'm in bed and I'm like, how do I see the original video? And I tried it 5 different modulations of Tifa or whatever. And I'm like, maybe Pornhub has it because Pornhub it has a lot of
I was wondering if you were gonna go there.
It has a lot of movies that you could stream for free because it's it's harder for stuff to get copyright struck.
Right.
So I'm in bed at midnight, on Pornhub, searching Tifa, getting railed in the Italian Senate or something, and it was it wasn't. I've never been in a situation where it looks way worse than it is. If my girlfriend had just opened her eyes and looked at what I was doing, she'd have been so confused. She just whispered to me saying she was awake.
Oh
So-
man, I have mad
Sorry
respect
for
for
that.
your girlfriend now
Wow.
too. Good God.
Wow.
I'm so
Absolute
glad I could
mad
bring this.
respect, man.
I'm so glad I
This-
could bring this to the podcast.
This is the quality content you come here for, ladies and gentlemen.
And also, if you want to stream movies, go to Pornhub.
We're looting the,
We got the
learning
whole
true
Matrix,
secrets.
Matrix Resurrections. I swear.
And the Zenspath 4 Button Podcast is here for, piracy for the
Sponsored
sake
by
of preservation.
Yeah.
Now going to the next story is going to feel really
crying.
awkward. Because we're going to tell a heartwarming story of an autistic child and the game developer.
my face hurts. Ow.
I got to find a way to clip this. This is great. So to finish off the news section, wow, did not expect porn time today. Thank you for coming on the show, Joey.
Thank you for having me. I'll be leaving now. I am so sorry for everything I've done.
This is great. So, all right, Hello Games, the makers of No Man's
okay,
Sky, brought their Joe Danger series back on iOS after receiving an email from a father of an autistic son.
Aw.
Do any of you guys remember the Joe Danger games?
Oh yeah.
Vaguely.
They were a lot of fun.
Vaguely.
They're still on Android and they were on like Xbox and stuff like that. But the iOS versions, as they go through here, Sean Murray stated the studio stopped updating Joe Danger because of the success and work involved with No Man's Sky. So when Apple updated iOS, it stopped those versions from working. The other ones still continued. He was quoted as saying, "Joe holds a special place in our hearts. It was our first game when we were still 4 guys in a shed trying to get noticed. We sold over 1 million copies of Joe Danger, and every week we still get emails from fans. Sadly, since iOS culled older games, it no longer worked on the latest Apple devices. It's always been a secret shame of ours that the success of No Man's Sky left Joe Danger unloved." Well, this changed when he got an email from a father of an autistic child named Jack. The father stated, "As you probably know, children with autism deal with a great many struggles. Chief among them are great difficulty with social interactions. However, one of the things that has enabled Jack and I to bond is our shared love of video games, specifically Joe Danger. Jack loves Joe. He loves everything about him. He has a collection of toy motorcycles that are his Joe Dangers. Every motorcycle we see on the street is Joe Danger. One of the first things I hear when I walk in the door after a long day at work is, 'Come on, Daddy, let's go play Joe Danger.'" And he was messaging him going like, "Hey, is there any way to make this work? Because if anyone's familiar with some people on the autism spectrum, they may have a particular device that they're connected to where they're connected to that one device. So if they're playing a game or doing something with it, that's their comfort. And if this, when iOS updated and the kid was using the iPad, he couldn't play this game anymore. And, some people are going to make that comment, "Oh, just, get the kid to play it on something else." And like, that's not an answer that's going to work.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's not how that works. That's
right. Like Jennifer, my daughter, she has a brain injury, but she's not autistic. She can move from device to device. She's okay. But, Caleb, I think you were saying your brother, I believe.
My brother is definitely on the spectrum. He does have autism. He is in love with his iPod and his iPod only, and he only wants to play N64.
Hell yeah.
Nothing else. And he will go through, play Super Mario 64, erase the file, and beat it in like a couple hours. So
Nice. But that's
what he
his
does.
comfort.
Rules.
That's as long as that runs, that's what he's comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So after getting this, Sean Murray and the crew over there were like, "No, this is what we need to do. We need to fix this." So the email got the studio to jump back and remaster both Joe Danger Touch and Joe Danger Infinity for iOS 15, completely redo them, put them back on the store for only $2 each, and then made all previous purchases count for free.
Aw.
So immediately
awesome,
the kid got his games back.
That is the most wholesome news.
It is. I
Ever.
love this story. I'm glad we ended it on this.
I absolutely love Hello Games. Like, I know people gave him crap with the launch of No Man's Sky,
That was rough.
I've-
Yep.
but I have never seen a developer work harder to turn around a game and do all that stuff and never charge a penny for it. All the stuff they've done for No Man's Sky, they have never once charged for updates. Even if you have a day one disc or bought one for a couple dollars years later, they added VR support. They added all the 4K and HDR and all the new features, the new worlds, all the mechanics, everything.
I still have my launch. Like I bought it at launch and I played it at launch. I played it like once, maybe twice a week. And I told people, they're like, Rachel, it's bad. And I said, well, yeah, I know that. And I said,
fun.
But it's fun. And I don't have to, like, the greatest thing about it is there's no story. There really isn't. Like
there is now,
but like,
yeah,
it's still convoluted and complicated and hard to get into. At least for me, it was. But I could just literally just hop in there and just go, okay, I'm exploring space. So,
yeah, I mean, you can take that launch day disc just like I do, put it in your PS5, and it will do all the updates. And you'll have all the content, everything enhanced for PlayStation 5 for how it runs, everything already on there.
I'm probably gonna do that. Probably next week, as I might put my PS4 disc in my PS5 and go, okay, let's do this.
Boot it up.
Well, they even enabled crossplay, so I can play on my Xbox. One of you can play on PC, and you can be on PlayStation, and we can all play together. It's great.
Yeah.
So these guys, they're one of my favorite developers because they're like, okay, we were wrong about how that was, and actually fixed it. If this had been EA or Activision or a lot of those, they'd have been like, well, that sucks. Let's move on. Maybe you'll get something better on the sequel if we do it.
It makes me wonder what their next title will be, like their next thing, and how they're going to handle it. And I know they'll do it as well as they can, but that really goes to show you that, they do stick to their word eventually, and they do it well, and they fix
whatever.
Yeah, they're
whatever it is, I'm going to have it.
Yeah,
like day one, I'm probably just going to dive in and get it. I'll be like, yeah, I'll take that. I mean,
we're all for supporting good people.
Because this is a small developer. Like Hello Games is still really small. Look at what they did to turn around No Man's Sky, and then look at like CD Projekt Red. They're not a small developer, and look how long it's taking them to turn around or do anything with Cyberpunk 2077 that they promised so much and had all these people working on. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's very impressive for what they've done.
I think the bar was set too high in regards to CD Projekt Red.
Well, they set that bar and were caught lying about it. So
exactly.
They kind of set that bar themselves. They said, "All right, here's the bar." Dink. Oh, whoops.
Basically, yeah. They set their own bar too high. Yeah, context is different. Yeah,
because it's like with No Man's Sky, a big part of that was Sony actually, and the publishers that they worked with, like. Giving them a bunch of money and like making claims about the product without having like really gone into it, and like literally reading the GDD, the game design doc, and being like, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to use this as like a proof of concept or like proof for the advertisement. It's like, bro, you didn't even look at the footage. And there was so much stuff like that like, I mean, there was some sleaziness with Hello Games proper that I think that they've kind of like proven that they can fix. But like a big part of that really wasn't even them,
No, it wasn't.
Could you imagine if Peter Molyneux had just part of this work ethic and actually went back and like made Fable have all the stuff he promised? Like, Fable would be like the unbeatable game.
So, in my mind, and I do love No Man's Sky. I don't play it as much as I should, and I'll probably get back into it because I love space games of that nature. But like. The one thing that I hope for them to add that I don't know if they've added in was the thing I was most excited about was the sandworms.
Some Dune.
Oh, those are
sprinkled in there.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
And you can ride them. She's happy. Yeah. That just made her day.
There you go. She's gonna go put it in tonight.
I'm gonna reenact what everyone wanted to do in the Dune movies.
So we're going to pause for just a moment because Joey sent something that has to be talked about here to the Discord, to everybody. And I'm sharing this now.
It wasn't the Tifa video, just for clarification.
That would be included on the feed if we had that. That's how the show gets taken off iTunes. So it's one of those fancy like Galaxy wallpapers, but it's got Peter Molyneux, Sean Murray, I'm trying to remember what's the guy? Todd Howard.
Todd Howard, yeah,
Todd Howard,
and
and
KG
then-
Inafune.
Basically the big men of promises that don't always deliver said promises. It's absolutely gorgeous. How did you find that so fast?
Dude, it
Like,
was
that's
my Facebook header for literally 3 years.
Oh my god.
And this is now like I haven't used Facebook in like 2 years, but this is
Joey,
now
you are
those are
truly
two
amongst friends.
photos.
You're absolute mad lad. Like absolute mean.
You will be a guest whenever.
There's a
we
little
can.
discrepancy, but the underlying theme is pretty much the same.
It's-
Big
yeah.
Dig
Oh,
Lictor.
yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
As a graphic designer who often makes these weird memes sometimes, I love this. I love
Hell
this.
This is why you had the suggestion that we need to have a meme section on the Discord, and I quickly did that, and it's been hilarious. So good on you.
We will never go back or regret
Nope.
it.
All right, so we're going to finish up the show now with our roundtable discussion, which this is one I thought we'd kind of have fun with. The question I have with the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, all being out for over a year now, what feature would you want to see added, changed, etc., either via software or for existing systems, or as a part of a mid-generation hardware update in a few years? Or the same question can apply to the Switch and any of its future replacements. Who would like to go first on this one? Okay, Joey, you go first because nobody raised their hands.
Okay. So I have sort of two, and they
Okay.
kind of tie into each other. And the first one is like, so I don't own I don't like PlayStation. I don't have any PlayStation games at all. Period.
Rachel, stop. Rachel, stop.
I'm joking.
I know.
I
I know
primarily-
Rachel, you can literally see a line of PS4 games
I
behind
know.
you. Chill.
I know. That's why I was very confused. I was like, "Wait a minute, that's a whole line of PS4 games, you
That's
liar!"
what it says. These aren't mine. I'm holding.
Yeah,
them
these
to
are
our
mine.
friend.
These are my girlfriend's. But
Yeah.
I like
That's my PlayStation porn collection.
Yeah, but no, these are all Tifa's videos. Yeah. I've collected a lot over the years. I had to hide them in something. Anyway, check out the podcast at pornhub.com/Zenspath. But yeah, PS5, the UI is garbage.
It
Still,
is.
a year later,
It's so garbage.
it still feels like a
Absolutely hate
beta UI. It's missing features from PS4. There's just it's just a mess. And I don't know how many people they had work on this. I don't know what the user testing was here, but it's like
It took
not
me
good.
4 steps to remember how to put it to sleep before the show.
So I would.
No.
I still to this day, and I did this last night when I was turning off my PS5. I will still hold down the PlayStation
Me too.
button.
I did it
Oh
today.
yeah, I do that sometimes.
I
as well,
do
yeah.
it-
do that anymore.
No, they took that away.
You just
You
tap
have
still
it.
to-
garbage.
You literally tap the PlayStation button on the controller and have to go all the way to the right to select the power button and then hit power off.
Here's the
It's
worst thing. In a
stupid.
game, if you're doing something,
Leave it
you,
on
hit
at
the
that
you
point.
have to hit the PlayStation button to go to the menu.
Yep.
Hit it again to go down to the bottom menu, then scroll over to find power. Then you got to select if you're putting it to sleep or turning it off.
Yeah.
It was perfect
That's-
on PS4 and
Yep.
PS3.
Mhm.
Absolutely perfect.
I don't know
And
why they
took it away.
think of how much time and loading and data and a whole probably at least 4 lines of programming code they could save by just retaining that particular menu scheme.
So
And-
simple. No, you paid $500 for this. We're gonna make it complicated.
We're gonna
okay?
make
They've
it
gone
yeah,
mad.
exactly.
They're probably thinking if you can't turn it off, you can't stop playing.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's damn. That got me.
You've thought of it all.
But yeah, no, that's a big struggle. It's kind of wild that that's still a thing, and a part of me thinks oh, are they just waiting to get more PS5s out to change it? Because I mean, it was the 360 is a really good example because the 360 had that Blade UI that people cried about for a year, and then they changed it
I
and they made
love
it
that.
way better. And so
Yeah.
I believe, I want to believe, but I also Sony, I hate you. I hate you
It's a
so
love.
much.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It's so frustrating.
It's an abusive relationship sometimes.
So yeah, and I'm the one being abused. So it is what it is. But my other thing, and this is a big thing across all platforms, is like, all right, maybe this is like a whole podcast topic in and of itself.
It really
but like
is.
there needs to be some kind of like backwards compatibility or
Yes.
game preservation sort of thing that a company goes. And you hinted at this when you were talking about the supposed leak of the PS1 and PS2 titles, which I think you might be grasping at straws. And even if there is backwards, not you, but the people,
Right.
but even if there is something like that, it's going to be like very rigid because Sony loves to control and not give you the whole thing. So all it takes is one big company to do it, man. If Square Enix was like, "Hey, we're going to make as many," I mean, and granted, a big part of the reason why this doesn't happen is because rights are very expensive. There's a lot of like logistics and annoying legalities to it. Game developers and companies are not going to be putting money towards something that's not going to be inherently profitable to them or like it's substantially profitable.
What they don't see as inherently profitable.
Exactly. So all it takes is one company to break that seal and do well with it. Like if Square Enix is like, hey, we're going to drop all the original Final Fantasies, the ports, not the pixel remasters. That's a whole nother can of worms, but we're going to drop the original games and maybe you pay $30 for it. Maybe you sub to a service and then you get all that kind of stuff, right?
Honestly, like there's coming from a marketing perspective, there's really easy things that they could name it. They could name it, and you know how PlayStation Plus is. They could name it PlayStation Retro or PlayStation Classic. Like they could come up with all kinds of different things, and they could start with just a library of their stuff that they have published that was on the PS1, PS2, PS3 when they get around to it. They could just start with what they have that they do not have to go through hoops and ladders. Then they can reach out to other publishers and other companies that they have worked with that they know that they won't have a problem with. Square Enix, for example. And then expand on it that way. And I think the problem is with them is even if they are thinking about this, they're already thinking too big too soon.
Yes.
And that's why they're just like, this is going to be too complicated and not profitable for us because they're trying to go too big too soon. And they just got to start with what they can do and then go from there.
Well, it's like Netflix. It's like Netflix started off as this thing that's like kind of humble and like it was really affordable. It was a good service. And then as time goes on, like the capitalist dystopia slowly consumes it and it becomes a voracious machine.
That's the true eldritch horror.
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, you're right. I think that they're starting out as the eldritch horror and not like the cool level 1 warrior with starting gear, you know? And that's the someone just needs to do it. I guarantee it becomes profitable. It becomes a trend.
Look at how Microsoft does it. Because right now, for backwards compatibility, they are the king of that. But my Series X, I can play a good number of original Xbox games, a lot of 360 games, and every single Xbox One game plays on it. And that's not just playing on it, but they get enhancements. You get better load times.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. They did that. They can do that because they started small. Like
they built it up over time.
Yeah, so even though like I'm recording on a PC right now. I'm not an Xbox person. I am a Microsoft person, but I'm not an Xbox person. But they did it right, and they've proven that it can be done. You just got to do it. Like that's the thing.
Hold on. Did you just compliment Xbox, Rachel?
Yeah, I know. I know. It can be done. This is the only thing I'll compliment them on, and the fact that the game Lost Odyssey is on Xbox 360, which was an excellent game.
And that's backwards compatible and enhanced as well.
Yeah. I wish they would port it to the PC so I could actually play it.
Same.
But here we are.
Yeah. I would love to play Banjo on my PC, but emulation and stuff.
I was gonna say.
But the topic
emulation,
the topics you were talking about, Joey, are kind of the same in mine in terms of backwards compatibility and continuing to add older games to their library, especially on the PS5. it sounds like they're starting to try, but I do wonder how they're going to achieve it, if they're going to try to achieve it all, and then of course when. But
Yeah.
here's another kind of thing on the UI, and this is something that I miss ever so dearly. Can we get themes back? I like that
Yes.
customization on the PS3. I liked it every time that they've done it. I like having fun, cool themes with different sounds when I turn on my PlayStation. And I don't know why they took that away. I don't. If they if they
I had a
if they
Star Trek one. It
if
was sick.
they
It was
if,
ASMR.
if they just I had the classic PS1 one that was only out
one.
for like a very limited time.
I had the
And
Batman one that came with my original Arkham Asylum Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
like, and I have all the Final Fantasy 7 ones, of course I do. But like I like that particular theme, because you can have sounds from one theme and then a completely different background. There was so much customability there. And yet with the PS5, they have this weird, complicated menu scheme, but no customability at
Yep.
all. So
Part
that's
of the problem with that, of why I think it's going to be hard for them to get out of it, is in losing our ability to kind of skin the system how we wanted it. The different companies can now run the menu like an advertisement.
Exactly.
You
That's
switch
why
to
you
a
haven't
game,
seen.
and
Yep.
it takes over and starts playing what they want you to see.
It's very social.
Going through it, so it kind of forces that now. And the funny thing is, like, going back to Xbox, like, they've started bringing back being able to theme the systems and doing that. And then they have a cool feature, like if you unlock an achievement, there's an image associated with it. You can make that your background if you want to. Like, I had a Resident Evil one I loved for years. Like, I would be cool to have that, and like get a Spider-Man one from, a trophy on there or something. I'd love that.
Even if the menu change that they decide to go with is just changing icons, I'd be happy with that level of customability. I would. But I'm a simple woman of simple needs. So
Yeah, it just needs to be customized. All right. Well, Rachel, since you were already going, do you want to go next on what you would choose for this conundrum?
that was it. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thing.
It's a good segue. Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it went right into it. I didn't realize she
Yeah.
had. Well, dang, that fixes it.
Applause.
Yeah.
Applause for
But
that.
one last thing on backwards compatibility for yours, Joey. I don't see a reason they could not enable at least PS1 and PS2 and maybe even like digital for Vita and PSP.
Oh man,
Like-
I would love to play PSP games on there.
Right. Like if you had to stick to digital, I don't see anything stopping that. PS4 is already there. PS3, I think we all kind of agree and looked at it for people that actually stop and think about it. The way the cell architecture is, it is incredibly difficult to emulate and run that. I don't see them being able to do that, and that'll probably be relegated to the hell of streaming, like PlayStation
Now, yeah.
Yeah, which
I just wish
so
that
sorry.
I've tested out that service. I used it on the PS4 for about 2 or 3 months because I got a free 3-month thing, and it
Mhm.
wasn't that bad as long as your interconnection was super stable and there was nothing else going on at that time. So if they
Ma,
had,
get off the
Yeah.
Netflix. I'm trying to play my game.
basically, yeah. So if you have a good internet connection, you're hardlined in, then you were pretty good with it, and it would kick you off maybe every now and then, but not like super
Oh.
often.
Only every now
As a
and then.
means
Yeah.
for playing like RPGs, turn-based games, things like that, puzzle games, slower titles,
Mhm.
streaming is fine. But the fact that they were like, you can play Street Fighter, I'm like, no, you can't.
No,
Like
you
that.
can't.
No.
I think if they put more dedicated servers into it, we'd experience less of a problem. But streaming is streaming, and there's always going to be problems when it comes to like relying on online to do a game.
Unless they're putting a main server in every city, they're going to have such a hard time overcoming their one biggest hurdle, and that is the United States internet
Infrastructure?
infrastructure.
Which is
Yep.
god awful. So
Right.
We tested our service in South Korea. It worked perfectly fine. Oh, well, that's cool. Great. Yeah. Good for them, I
the
guess.
place built for internet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only a internet cafe around every corner.
Yeah.
Caleb, do you want to go ahead and go next with your choice on this?
Sure. As much as I would love to discuss, like, PS5 and everything, I'm the only poor soul here who does not have one. So,
Loser.
I know. So I would actually like the option to be able to buy a PS5 at some point if I so desire, instead of like, well, I'm kind of broke and it's not like they're easily accessible. So I just feel like I'm not going to save up for one right now. So I'll just wait till people stop trying to mine cryptocurrency from it, from all the PS5s, and then I'll be good.
It seems to be slowing down, is what they say.
God help us if they ever figure out how to do that.
Hopefully. I'm pretty sure they figured it out by now. It's more or less the chips inside them that they're taking.
Right.
Instead
Guys,
of the
we can't
PS5s
even build
themselves.
cars. That's how bad it is.
It's
So-
pretty bad. Anyways, let's not go on that tangent for now. But for future Switch, or whatever else, the Switch U, Switch 2, Switch DOS, or whatever they want to come up with, I just need more. I just need, I need the OLED screen version, but I need more space and more battery life and just more power. That's all I want is more.
You just want
I'm
a generational
greedy.
jump.
Yeah, I want more. Give me more.
I think
like
when
the
it get-
portability aspect of it, but I just need more.
I don't know that they're going to be able to pack that much power into a portable, but
Not
we'll
with that
try.
attitude. I need
Given-
more.
Given the advancements in the Tegra chips that they've had, I very easily think they could. Like the way the technology's gone, if they did a new system, they could up that thing. It's going to up the cost and probably have to come down a little bit, but they could do it.
I'm fine if it. I know this is kind of dumb, but if they just made like a half and half, like you could dock your thing, but then becomes more powerful. But if you want to take it on the go, you can still take it on the go, and it'll change resolution or whatever.
Well, it kind of does that
I know.
now.
It does that,
Yeah, it does
but
it
like
now.
on a grander
Sort
scale.
of,
Like a
grander
more-
scale, yeah.
More.
And same thing with the Switch too. I think it's with their micro SD card, it allows for a lot of space and all that. But could we add another slot so
Yeah.
you could have two of them in there at one time?
More? You say?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
keep
More.
thinking of this from the Tifa perspective. I am sorry. My head
Wow.
is going places I don't want it to go.
He needs more memory for those videos.
I need more
He
memory.
needs more. He
I
needs
need this. I
another
just
slot.
need more.
But I think all the consoles experience that problem too. It's like
Yeah.
we need more memory.
Oh, I was about to say that's about to come up in my discussion, actually. So I'll go ahead and move on to mine. It's a good segue to that. So the Xbox Series S, have you guys seen one of these physically? Like what they actually look like?
No.
He's just showing off now.
Oh,
He's like,
God.
Yeah,
No, I mean like they're really small. Like that is an
Adorable.
entire Series S. Like that's
That looks
ridiculous.
like a weirdly sized college textbook is what that looks like.
Welcome to Taco Bell. How can I take your order?
I'd get some of that new hard Baja Blast, please.
So
yeah, let me
for-
get
for scale. To give you how small this is, that's a Switch Pro controller. Like this thing is
Wow.
tiny. But this does play.
And yet it's not cheap. Okay.
It's like $2.99. It's only $50 more than a Switch. That's not horrible.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's
But there's two major flaws with this. Like this was given to me as a gift. I'm not complaining about it. I actually love this thing. It's good for using it and playing in my room. The
And
Series S was meant
some
for
portability there too. So
Yeah, I mean it is really portable for that. The Series S was made for people that a majority of people still have like 1080p TVs or a 1440p monitor. They don't have big 4K and all that stuff. So getting a Series X might just be kind of pointless for that. They're not getting the full advantage of it. So they made this one with that lesser in mind because you don't need as much power to run the games at that lower resolution to still be able to play them. That's just like how computers work. You can scale it. Scalability is a word, damn it.
it
It's
is
an
a word.
argument for something else. But what this thing needs, it's digital only, but they only put 512 gigs in it. Why? Like
You
this?
could play one game. That's it.
You play one
for the
play
$300
one-
price tag.
You play one, possibly two games, and then after you're done, you promptly delete them, except for
Right.
the save files. That's what you
So-
do.
It is
Until-
nice that you can get the expansion cards. This is a 1 terabyte expansion. I ended up buying 2 of these. I switched them between the systems, and you can put it in the back. It's smaller than a PS2 memory card. It's trippy. So you can expand the memory.
That's like a reference to swapping out the hard drives on the Xbox 360. That just unlocked a memory for me.
Right. This one you can actually hot swap. That one you had to turn off.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of cool though. That's interesting. So
even if they didn't change, if the Series X stayed the same shape the entire time, I think that would be fine. I wouldn't mind it eventually getting a second port for another memory card because you can do so much. But a Series S, if they released one, maybe jump the price to make it $300. If they had to, give it a disk drive, so you can actually play the disc versions in there. It'd still be the 1080p, 1440p, whatever versions, but you'd have access to all the backwards compatibility that's only software only right now and everything, and up the internal drive. Like that's, I think, would be a huge thing for them because they're not having as much trouble getting the chipsets. So they could change this casing.
Okay, so if you were to do that and do an alternate version of it, here's my proposal. Because I associate Xbox Series S with Xbox Series Small.
Yep.
How about Xbox Series M? Xbox Series Medium?
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Because a lot of people are thinking like you have to raise the price. It would be up in the range of like a Series X. At that point, you might as well just get a Series X.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they did like they were doing for a while where you could get a subscription with like Game Pass or something for a year? You pay a monthly amount and that includes this console, the smaller one, with the Game Pass. You get that'll cover the cost of the disc drive and you have the expanded memory to be able to download more games as well as the physical media.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would go over really well for people that can't just shell out the amount of money at one time to get a console. No one's agreeing with this.
Game Pass is a very slippery slope to me.
Really?
I like it. It's great. It's a great service, but it is not like the paragon of hope that so many people make it out to be. And I'd be very, very, very wary of the kind of things it could lead to.
Right, it's leaning more into games as a service, even heavier.
Yeah, I used Game Pass once to play a game that I could not find anywhere. And then I promptly did not use it anymore once I finished it. So,
okay, I wasn't saying like Game Pass good, bad, or either way, but I just kind of
but
that
it
might be a way
ties
to
into
tie it
that
in
though,
with it.
because it's like now if you're selling a piece of hardware or renting out, basically financing a hardware with Game Pass,
right?
Then that's scary. I don't know. To me, that's frightening. And so like,
then do you really own the console? Is the question.
Yeah.
That's they already did something like this with like the launch of the Series X and some of the later, like the Xbox One X, where you would do it for a year and then it included your Xbox Gold. It had some of the stuff for Game Pass, and then after that time, your system was yours. It wasn't like a rental you returned or anything. It was just that's just a way to let people do payments, basically.
Yeah, I
don't know. I just thought that might be a way to balance out the extra cost of the extra hardware for some people.
Yeah, no, I get it. The idea of financing stuff is like very, especially in this economy, let me tell you. But like it's like one of the worst things you can do financially, like I think in most cases. So it's always something I recommend people not do. So yeah.
Fair enough.
That's my take.
All right. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for the roundtable and for the show itself. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We've had a nice, healthy 2-hour show tonight.
But we went a little long, which is great, though. But you know,
it's gone a little long. We went into a little bit of Pornhub. We all had our pets shown off. I mean, this has been an eventful night that will be living on in infamy. This will be on Twitter tomorrow.
Say when you don't do the show for a week and you come back and
we had to add an extra hour. We had to make up for it.
Right. I got off that cruise ship and I was like, what has happened to the world? We must talk about it. All right. So we'll let everybody go through their spiel of where we can find you on the internet and go from there. Caleb, do you want to start us off, please?
Sure. You can find me on YouTube. Just try to look up Strangely Entertaining, and then YouTube has Ghost banned me or whatever. So you have to specify, yes, I am looking for Strangely Entertaining, and that's me. That's my YouTube channel where you can see me and my wife play through Subnautica. And then also have a Twitch stream that I sometimes can get to that's on either Tuesdays or Thursdays, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, where I'll just play whatever. And then also I'm on Twitter at StrangelyInt. And also shout out to my homies on the Content Breaker podcast. Go look up Content Breaker on YouTube or Podcatchers. They got mad at me for not telling it last time. So,
Ooh, got in trouble.
yeah, I got in trouble. So
Bad.
Rachel, where can we find you on the internet?
So you can find me in a variety of places. You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Outrageous. That's OUT_RACHEOUS. I post mostly cosplay stuff on Instagram, and I'm trying to get back into that a little bit. I'm excited about that. I've not posted actual content in a long time. And then also Twitter. I'm on there occasionally. And I usually post about my streams on both of those platforms. But you can also find me on Twitch as well. I have my Twitch stream, which is twitch.tv/outrageous, which is OUTRACHEOUS, but there's no underscore in that one. But the links for those are also on both my Instagram and my Twitter as well. I stream usually one to two times a week, depending on my schedule, sometimes 3. Usually on Friday afternoons or evenings, or Saturday afternoons or evenings. Right now I'm playing Strange Horticulture and the game Siberia. I'm big into adventure and puzzle games, so I'm leaning really heavy into that on my stream. And yeah, so that's me.
Nice.
I'm like frantically typing, trying to follow everybody and everything. I'm like,
Sorry, I talk really fast.
no, it's good. It's keeping me sharp. You're
right. Joey, you are our special guest this week. Thank you once again for joining us on the show. Where can we find you on the internet? Please feel free to plug anything you want.
Yeah, Pornhub.com. Windjammers fan 420. No, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/podcastjump. Also on twitch.tv/JOIE jump and shoot. And also twitch.tv/monstervine. We do Super RPG Friends on Thursday nights, where we play through an RPG steadily over the course of many weeks, because it takes a while sometimes. And again, it's like a podcast, let's play mix discussion, off topic, tangential kind of thing. And that's it. We also have YouTube and stuff, but honestly, we rarely do that. And Jump and Shoot is on all audio platforms. So Jump and Shoot, a gaming podcast. Choose your platform, man. Do it.
Yeah, I greatly enjoyed watching you guys do the stream earlier today about Pokemon Arceus. That was absolutely messed up, as everyone listening to this probably figured out already.
Super RPG Friends is a little bit like proper of a thing than that. It was described as after hours, but being before hours.
Yeah, that was a great response. I saw that. I will never look at the professor from this new Pokemon game the same with his now. I'm convinced he has a weird foot obsession.
As you should.
I still think that weird hat is a punishment. That there's probably a little bell in the puff. So if he's sneaking around, it's like a cat bell. Like it alerts you, like, hey, quit looking in my window.
Children, don't go at night, or else the professor will get you.
So this is, for all the real Pokemon fans, this was the creepy old man looking inside of Erica's gym in Gen 1.
I still can't believe, like, he just walks into town with some strange kid he found that fell out of the sky, and this is not abnormal for this guy. I was like, that's a warning bell.
There he goes again, bringing those strange kids. Those sky kids, as we call them.
I think they're being so mean, trying to tell you to leave because they're trying to help you. Like, no, you have to go. Seriously, please leave. It's for your sake.
It's better to go die out in the wilderness than to stay here.
So I've been your host, Jeremy Powers. You can find me at Zenspath, ZENSPATH, over on Twitter. You can also find me at twitch.tv/Zenspath, Zenspath COM, as well as Instagram is Zenspath COM. But on Twitch, you can look forward to this lovely game I picked up recently, Muppets Party Cruise, that I will be attempting to stream with my wife because she is obsessed with going on cruises. So I'm going to make her play this with me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Also one of the
I'm going to
hardest to
watch
realize.
specifically just because it's the Muppets, and I love
It's
the Muppets.
multiplayer, so I'm going to try and get Remy involved in this also.
Oh my god, that's going to be hysterical.
Yeah, so that'll be great. And then you can find these videos as well as my moving forward, or which is FOREWORD, like the forward of a book where it explains it, where I record the openings and demo footage for all different generations of games to kind of preserve that and share it with everybody over at youtube.com/ZenspathCom. No spaces or anything. All right. Well, this has been episode 58 of the Zenspath 4-Button Podcast, and we are out.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Seriously, kids, don't go to Pornhub.